this time, I'd like to call to order the regular monthly meeting of the South Union Township Board of Supervisors. We'll have opening prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 4, roll call. Mr. Schiffbauer?
Here.
Mr. Vernon?
Here.
Mr. Scott here. Number 5, the Roadmaster's report. During the month of April, we mowed with our tractor 12 days in between the rain. We hauled compost 14 days, and I know it's that time of year, but we're getting a lot of compost again, and we're getting some large items. We say it every month, I think, but 3 inches and smaller on the branches. And if you're cutting grass or doing any kind of yard work and getting paid for it, you have to pay us to haul the stuff away. There's 4 or 5 contractors in the area that do pay us to get rid of their compost, and we haul it and get rid of it. But people need to understand, some people will come in and say, well, the yard I'm cutting is in South Union Township. But if you're getting paid to cut the yard, then you have to pay us to get rid of the compost. Just so that's clear. It's not fair to the other ones that are paying. So I just wanted to address that real quick. We did get the asphalt plant opened up, and we milled and paved on 7 or 8 various streets. We've milled big patches and paved them, so we're doing a lot more of the bigger patches, as you'll see, than we've done in the past. The milling machine's definitely been a value to us. We cleaned a couple ditches in Hopwood that sat over the winter, filled in from road debris. We did a lot of work over in the cherry tree area. I've been getting a lot of calls about the Route 21 project, and we know that the road's bad when you first get off 21, but that's in the scope of the work of PennDOT. And since they took it over, I mean, we do our best. We've been out there a couple times patching, but they tear it up so much that, you know, it's their responsibility now until that road's turned back over to us for them to patch it. So we're doing our best. I mean, we're not supposed to be over there, but when we do get calls, we do respond. But they have so much equipment running on that road, it just tears it out. So I just wanted to make that clear. But anything else you guys like to add?
We used a sweeper truck, I think about 7 or 8 days also.
I had that written down here.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Anything, Mr. Schiffbauer?
I'd just like to add in regards to our composting program, you know, it's costing us a considerable amount of money to operate it, but it's turned out to be a very useful convenience to the residents of our township. I know several times where we had to suspend the use of it. You can't imagine the number of phone calls and inquiries we got from our residents asking when we're going to open back up. So, you know, that proves in itself just how popular the composting program is in South Union Township. And like Jason said, it's costly, and we shouldn't allow people to take advantage of it when they're profiting from it. They should pay their fair share.
And the weather was so decent this year, we didn't even really close it down this year. Usually we close it in January and February, but we pretty much hauled compost all year round from the windstorms. So.
Yeah, and then also in regards to the Route 21 project, originally the Route 21 project was supposed to be completed latter part of this summer, but from all indications the project's going to linger on until sometime next year. It's unfortunate there's been a heavy price paid to businesses located around Route 21, how it's negatively impacted businesses. And I think this is something we should consider here at the Board of Supervisors, is to contact PennDOT and our local legislators to see if they can allow the contractor to spend more time, overtime, or even evening hours to work on the project. I think it's only fair to try to help get the project completed and allow these businesses to run their businesses like they should be.
When they first started the project, they gave us a date of December of 2016. Last day I received from them was July of 2017. That's the last day I received from them.
Yeah, and we've talked to some of the business owners along there, and I really feel for them how it's really impacted their businesses. And, you know, there might have been some influence as to Kmart's decisions to close. You know, they were struggling even before the project began. Now that project's going on to second or third year. There's no doubt in my mind it's really lessened their productivity to themselves, and that may very well have had something to do with it. Now that's pure speculation on my part. I have not talked to anybody from the Kmart headquarters, but it could very well have had an effect as to their decision to close.
Thank you. Moving on, number 6, the code enforcement officer's report. Mr. Vernon.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. For the month of April, again, I mentioned every meeting, we do have 2 full-time code officers working on the day. We have 3 part-time code officers working in the evenings and on weekends. For the month of April, those for property repairs, we sent out 10. Junk vehicles was 2. Again, junk vehicles, you must have a proper plate, updated plate, and also your inspection must be valid. If not, we have to have it dismissed from your property. We had 1 dog complaint, 4 burning complaints. Again, our burning is on Saturdays from 8 to 5. There must be a controlled burn, which means someone has to be around it at all times. High grass and weeds, our ordinance has 10 inches is the max you can have without getting a cut. We had 5 letters went out on that. Probably going to have more next month because as summer goes, we get more complaints. We did make 1 property unsafe for occupancy, and we had 4 quad complaints. Delinquent garbage accounts, we only had 3 this month. Parking complaints, we had none. Citations issued by our officers was 24, and we had 1 zoning violation. Miles traveled throughout the township by our full-time officers, 1,530 miles, and our part-time officers, and on weekends and the evenings, 1,980 miles, for a total of 3,510 miles our officers traveled throughout the township patrolling. They've also given out 12 fire lane tickets and 8 handicap tickets. That concludes my report for the month of April.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. Anything to add, Mr. Schiffmeyer?
No, I have nothing.
Thank you. Item number 7, motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Vernon's motion.
Motion to proper second on a roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 8, comments on agenda items. Does anyone have any comments on agenda items? No? Number 9, the sewage department report. During the month of April, I've been keeping you up to speed. We did the GIS for the whole township. We located all the manholes and put them on a map on the computer. We're in the final stages of that. I hope to have that done by the end of May. I think when we first started, just going by our old map, we thought we had around 1,400 manholes in the whole township. We still have approximately 150 to find, and we're already up to 1,725 manholes. So we did find some manholes that we didn't even know we had. So this system's definitely going to be of value to us. Make things a lot easier when someone's having a problem. We'll be able to find the manholes a lot faster. And once this is complete, it'll be so easy. We did install a new pump. The Route 21 pump station needed some upgrading. When we took over the authority in January, we knew it needed upgrading. We're in the process of doing that ourselves with our guys, and we did have a subcontractor help us out with the installation of the 1 pump. So the pump was started last Friday, I think it was, and it's doing a lot better. So we're in the process now of ordering the 2nd pump to replace it. So we'll have 2 new pumps in that pump station. It was built in 1972 and hasn't had any major renovations since then. That's all I have for the month of April. You gentlemen have anything else? Okay. Number 10, a motion to approve the Route 21 pump station settlement project. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve it.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Burns' motion.
Any motion?
Gentlemen, if I might,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, could we add to the motion that we authorize Mr. Scott to sign the settlement agreement?
Yeah, I'll move to amend my motion to read Mr. Scott to sign the settlement agreement as our chairman.
Just add me as a sign, okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
A motion, proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 11, responding to public inquiries on Target store transgender restrooms. Mr. Schiffbauer has been looking into this, and he'd like to comment on it.
Yeah, we've had several inquiries by residents of the township about the policy that Target stores have instituted in allowing the transgender use of their restrooms. And in light of the fact that we have a Target store in South Union Township, I think it's something that the Board of Supervisors should take into consideration and monitor the situation as to if anything is anything negative or criminal going on. It's a dangerous world out there, and unfortunately there's people out there that take advantage of others, and their policy that Target has instituted really kind of draws concern, and it possibly allows for bad things to happen if this continues. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about this issue across the United States as time goes on. We'll probably see legislation or maybe even some judicial actions, or maybe even the Supreme Court ruling on this. I think it's something that is just pushing the boundary way too far in today's society. The discrimination against the gay community has been corrected tremendously, and but this is something far beyond that. It has nothing to do with the prejudices potentially with other people. It does, I think, put some of our residents, especially young children, possibly in a situation in jeopardy. This is why we're going to look at it. We're going to take it on it. We ask any of our residents if they are concerned about it to express that concern to the Board of Supervisors. If they even have any suggestions or any input, we'd like to take that and listen to it. And I think eventually at some time we'll pass our feelings based on the residents' input, passing that on to the headquarters at the Target stores. Mr. Davis, you have any comments as far as our powers and authorities?
Well, this is a very difficult question to address because what we're seeing is really in its infancy. We haven't seen much in the way of legislation, and we certainly haven't seen much in the way of judicial review as to what powers, regulatory powers, perhaps townships and other governmental bodies have, and to what extent we can regulate. So I think it's wise, as you have mentioned, to monitor the situation and see where it takes us. I'm certain that at some point you're going to see litigation in this field. And I suspect that the American Civil Liberties Union is going to take this cause up. I'm not exactly sure when that'll happen or exactly what the circumstances will be. But I do think you're going to see some litigation in this field. It's a difficult area. The definitions of transgender are going to need to be revisited and defined in the judicial context. Perhaps it'll come from legislation which will be reviewed by the courts. That is a likely scenario. So I think we just have to keep an eye on the situation and see where it takes us. I would be reluctant at this time for the township to get directly involved, particularly, as I said, it's an area of law that's so dynamic and so many issues that are unresolved. And I would think we'd want to kind of keep an eye on it and see when they are resolved and how they are resolved, and what authority then we might have to look further into it and regulate if and when that becomes appropriate.
Yeah, and just one further thing, it's an area that we certainly have never visited before as far as the Township Board of Supervisors, but our primary duty and responsibility is to act on the behalf of the residents of South Union Township. And if we did not address this issue, I don't think we would be doing our job as Township Supervisors. And my personal belief I think a man is a man no matter what name they go by. They're supposed to use men's restrooms, and women should be using women's restrooms. That's my personal feelings about it, and I don't think that'll ever change.
Thank you, Jim. Agenda item number 12, open bids for summer road resurfacing project. Mr. Davis, we have 4 bids.
Just need a motion to open and tabulate the bids.
Okay.
I'll move to open and tabulate the bids.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I'll open the bids not in any particular order. Victor Paving and Construction, Inc. of Monongahela, Pennsylvania. I'm going to open that one first. Hopefully it'll be easy to open. It is accompanied by what appears to be an all states bonding company appropriate bid bond, which is signed. And it has its pre-qualification certificate. It has an attachment for item 1, 3,369.20 in quantity, tons, super pave, HMA wearing course, 9.5 mm mix, PG 64-220-0.3 million, ESALs, SRLG, 1.5 depth, unit price $72.23, total $243,357.32.
Could you repeat that one more time, Mr. Davis?
$243,357.32.
Thank you.
Mr. Davis, I'm sorry, could you read the unit price again?
$72.23,
Thank you.
and that's Victor. The next envelope is from El Grain Industries.
El Grande.
El Grande.
Where's your Spanish at there?
I should have had that one. I wasn't, these glasses.
That probably wasn't your second language in college.
No, it wasn't. These glasses betrayed me here. That's what it was.
We got Latin, a little hard one.
Yeah.
Useless language.
We have the bid of El Grande. It does have a bid bond attached. Unit price $73.65. Total $248,141.58. We have the bid of AC Moyer. Bid bond from Travelers attached. Unit price $80.92. Total $272,635. This last bid is of Morgan Excavating, Bell Vernon. There is a bid bond attached from IFIC. Unit price $87.45. Total $294,636.54.
That's 636.54.
Yes, $294,636.54. Unit price $87.45. Those are your bids, gentlemen.
There's 72.23. 72.23.
What page is that for?
Victor?
72.23. That's the lowest.
Victor was the unit price on Victor,
Good for it, huh?
7223, 243,357.32. Total, 243,357.32. You can make a motion to accept, to award the bid to the lowest responsible bidder consistent with specifications. This way here, when we review it, if there's an inconsistency, we'll be all right.
Our requirement is 60 days to have it completed
Yeah.
in 60 days.
Lowest responsible bidder consistent with specifications. And it
everything-
appears to be Victor.
Everything appears to be there.
It does, but I would have, we should maybe let our engineer look at it just to play safe. That's why I say award to the lowest responsible bidder consistent with specifications.
I'll move the award to the lowest responsible bidder. What's
Victor paving,
Victor Paving?
$72.23.
We had consistent with specifications?
Yeah. For $243,367.32. And they have to have it completed within 60 days.
Yeah, you're gonna put that in your motion, Mr.?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's on our.
243,357.32?
That's all, yes, that's also in our specs.
Yes, it is.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second Mr. Burns' motion.
A motion, proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries.
Where's Victor? Are they from down Martin?
They're from Monongahela.
Oh, yeah. They did work before for us.
Victor is from Monongahela.
They don't have a Mexican address?
That sounds wrong.
No.
Moving on to number 13 on the agenda. Motion to advertise for tar and chipping project. Mr. Schiffauer, you've been handling this.
Well, you know what? It's probably been 40-some years since an item like this has been on the township agenda. I know prior to, I've been here, this is my 37th year, and the township was not doing any tarring and chipping. We know PennDOT does a lot of it. Some of the municipalities, they've done tarring and chipping for years, but the township used to do it. I don't know when the last year, it had to be 40-plus years since the township has done the tarring and chipping. And one of the main reasons or main purpose to do the tarring and chipping is the money, the savings that's realized by doing it. It helps maintains the roads, and it allows a cheaper impact, less impact on the township budget. There's a substantial difference in the cost of tarring and chipping, say, a Mallet Road, opposed to amiciding a Mallet Road. There are roads that we've identified in the township that we think are suitable for the tarring and chipping process, and I think based on that, we talked to a number of companies. I think based on that we should go ahead and advertise to accept bids to do tarring and chipping in South Canyon Township. So, if there's any other comments?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with that, I'd like to make a motion we advertise to accept bids for tarring and chipping through various roads in South Canyon Township.
Okay, we're going to do it before the next meeting, advertise it.
Yeah, we can start advertising now.
Right.
I'll second your motion.
We have a motion and a proper second. On the roll call, Mr. Schiffauer?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 14 is to pass a resolution to assign an agent to sign all documents relating to the January 2016 snow disaster relief. As you know, we experienced a significant snowstorm in January, and I believe it was the governor put us under the state of emergency, and now the state is reimbursing the townships on the disaster relief. All this is saying is just assigning someone to sign all the documents to get the reimbursement. I believe Mr. Schiffauer, you were the designated signer. Make a motion to have Mr. Schiffauer the designated signer for the disaster relief 2016.
That's your motion.
Yeah.
I'll second Mr. Scott's motion.
I have a motion and a second. On the roll call, Mr. Scott, or Mr. Vernon? Or Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffauer?
Yeah. I'm glad you accept the duties and responsibility of signing these documents, especially in light of the fact we're finally getting some money that's coming from Harrisburg back into
Great.
South
I was
Canyon
excited
Township.
to find that out because I didn't know that they did that. And when we got the documentation and I read it up, I can't quote the exact amount, but I believe it was $60,000 to $70,000 that we're going to get back. So when you take that out of what we spent on snow plowing, that's a significant amount. because we didn't have too much snow plowing other than that, big snowstorm. So that was nice news to get that money back. We can use it for paving now.
Very seldom does that money come from Harrisburg to South Lee Township.
Yeah.
Usually it goes the other way.
Yeah, right. Moving on, number 15 on the agenda, Fayette EMS, Mr. Vernon.
I talked to the Fayette EMS agent before the meeting. They were unable to come. They just asked me to mention that they did buy American Ambulance out in the middle of December of 2015. And they had, American was about 2/3 of our townships for emergency providers for ambulance service. And we had Fayette EMS for the other third in the Hopwood area. But by them buying out American, I think it was in January, we approved to give them the whole township for emergency providers. However, if they mentioned there was someone else put in the paper that they're able to handle South End, that would be a problem. So our emergency provider is Fayette EMS. If you call it 911, that's who they would send out. But you already tell them your private one, but you have to call them yourself personally.
Yeah, and I haven't received any complaints
No,
since
neither.
they've taken over, so just doing a good job and we appreciate it. Anything else, Mr. Schiffauer, you'd like to add?
I'm talked out for today.
Okay, that doesn't happen too often. Number 16, Chair's going to entertain a motion to advertise to sell the township's 1995 International plow truck. I have some information here. We're going to advertise to take bids on this truck. It's a 1995 International with a steel spreader box and a 10-foot plow. It's 28,000 gross vehicle weight. It has a whopping 11,120 miles on it for being 21 years old. And the condition, its average condition is what we had it listed. We had it to one of our subcontractors that we used for inspections and stuff, and they graded it as average condition. So we will be accepting bids. You'll see in the newspaper we're going to advertise the bids for that. The Chair now entertain a motion to accept the advertise.
I'll move to advertise to sell the township's 1995 International plow truck.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 17, comments from the public. Do we have any comments from the public? Yes, ma'am. Could you come up to the podium? Please say your name, address for the camera, please.
Karen Sider, 212 Schaefer's Corner, Uniontown. I noticed in the paper that Schaefer's Corner is listed as one of the repaving areas, and I wondered if you had a time frame. Do you know when?
I do. That was approved last year at our meeting, and they ran into the cold weather back in November. We did that in November, so I looked to do it in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to call them. They also bid on our other road, but they didn't receive it. El Grande is on them. That was through our grant money we had set up for last year.
Okay, I just needed some idea of when. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
They told us that it would be, last fall, they told us that it would be first, when the plan opened up. So I would, like Mr. Vernon said, I would assume it's going to start here anytime.
I'll call them and I'll double check with them.
Thank you so much.
We'll go through probably like a day or two before, and we'll have our code officer probably put notes, because there's some cars that park on that street. We'll put some notes, or we'll send a letter out letting you know it's going to be in the next couple of days.
Oh, that would be appreciated.
Okay.
It was approved in our October meeting, I believe, or November meeting, to do your street now.
Okay, thank you so
Give me a
much.
check.
No problem. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? No? Everyone's quiet today. Number 18, the financial statement, Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Our general fund checking account is $323,283.32. Our general fund investment account is $290,372.11. Our state fund, $308,082.39. The hydrant fund, $6,226.26. Our athletic fund, $4,116.75. And our North End, South End Intergovernmental Board Fund is $21,103.94. For a grand total of $1,053,184.77. Now, and also our sewage fund is $2,666,079.28. If we add those two together, we have a grand total of $3,722,000 $264.05. That's my report for the financial statement.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Any corrections? No. Moving on to number 19, motion to pay all current bills. Mr. Schiffbauer.
I'll make a motion to pay the following current bills. From the North Union South Union Township Intergovernmental Board Fund, $5,350. From the State Fund, $14,334.30. The Fire Hydrant Fund, $3,715.39. Athletic Fund, $2,257.64. Sewage Fund, $696,718.06. And from the General Fund, $269,301.45. That's my motion.
I'll second Mr. Schiffbauer's motion.
We have a motion, a proper second on the roll call. Mr. Schiffbauer.
Yes.
Mr. Vernon.
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 20, anything from our solicitor today?
I really don't have anything. It's been a quiet day, and I'll stay with the pattern here.
Okay, that's fine. You and Bob are both done talking. Oh, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn at 4:31 PM.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second Mr. Vernon's motion. We have a motion, a proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott? Yes. Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes, there's one further thing I'd like to say. I'd like to vote for the motion that's before us now. Thank you.
We adjourn?
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Because I got one.